Open world games are a big hit with gamers, and Xbox Game Pass offers an amazing variety to dive into. With so many options, picking the right one can feel overwhelming. That's why we've put together a list of the top 20 open world games you can play right now on Game Pass. Kicking off our list is Alice Fallen Reign of Sand. Released in 2023, this game flew under the radar for many and struggled to leave a lasting impression. Unlike Deck 13's The Surge series, Alice Fallen moves away from the Souls-like formula, offering a more approachable hack-and-slash experience in a desert-inspired world. While it didn't exactly make waves due to its forgettable story and decent but not groundbreaking combat, there are still things to appreciate about it. Sure, the game has its flaws, like a sparse open world and uneven gameplay, but let's focus on what it does get right. For a game with a modest budget, the visuals are surprisingly impressive, and the sweeping desert landscapes give it a great sense of scale. The movement mechanics are where Alice Fallen really shines. Gliding across the sand feels smooth and satisfying, and even the platforming elements are enjoyable. The combat, while not perfect, has its moments of fun, especially with the additions in Reign of Sand, which brought more variety to enemy encounters. The game's momentum system is a standout, rewarding proactive gameplay, while doubling as a unique way to customize your playstyle. While it may not have been a hit, Alice Fallen is worth a look for those craving something a little different. Next up is Creatures of Ava, an open-world gem that seemingly came out of nowhere and has quickly become a favorite for players who want a more relaxing and heartfelt adventure. You take on the role of a protagonist who lands on a mysterious planet, tasked with curing animals of a strange infection and even bringing some of them aboard your ship. Along the way, you'll explore vibrant landscapes, solve puzzles, engage in unique combat mechanics, and connect with the planet's inhabitants. While it scratches that classic collect them all itch, Creatures of Ava isn't your typical monster collecting game. For starters, the combat system is refreshingly non-violent. You won't be attacking the animals you're trying to save. Instead, you'll need to dodge their strikes while slowly curing them of their infection. It's a system that fits the game's narrative perfectly and feels rewarding, especially as you unlock new abilities. Though it's not as expansive as some other open-world titles on Game Pass, Creatures of Ava boasts an incredibly vibrant and well-designed map. The use of bold, striking colors makes the alien world feel truly otherworldly, and each biome offers something distinct, both in visuals and the creatures you'll encounter. If you're looking for an open-world experience with a unique twist, this one's a must-try. Coming in at number 18 is Ashen. While many Souls-like games offer a sense of exploration and freedom, they typically follow a Metroidvania structure rather than a true sandbox design. Titles like Lies of P or Lords of the Fallen showcase massive, intricate worlds, but they still guide players along relatively linear paths with branching areas that stay contained within specific regions. It's a formula that works well, but Ashen takes a slightly different approach, blending Souls-like mechanics with open-world exploration. Now let's set expectations. Ashen isn't as massive or expansive as Elden Ring, which makes sense given it's an indie title from a smaller studio. That said, it nails its approach to open-world design. Players are given a lot of freedom to explore its beautifully minimalist, stylized world. While some areas are tougher than others, and a natural skill-based progression, most regions are accessible from the start. Instead of relying on a traditional level-up system, Ashen ties progression to equipment upgrades and quest completion, which directly influence your character's HP and stamina. This unique system might not be for everyone, but it fits well with the game's open-ended design. That said, Ashen is a bit of a niche experience. If you're more of an open-world fan and not into the challenging combat of Souls-like games, this one might not be your cup of tea. On the flip side, if you're a hardcore Souls-like enthusiast, there are more traditional options on Game Pass that might be worth checking out first. But if you enjoyed both genres and want something that bridges the gap between them, Ashen is a solid pick and deserves a shot. Up next, we have Expeditions, a Mudrunner game. Now, this one's a bit of a unique case. While it's not fully open world, the game does draw players into fairly large areas that are meant to be tackled one at a time. Each map is part of structured progression, but most regions can still be explored freely, especially once you unlock the free roam mode by completing a certain number of expeditions. So while it has its limitations, the game definitely scratches that open world itch, provided you're into slow-paced, methodical gameplay centered around conquering environmental challenges. In Expeditions, players take control of massive off-road vehicles and navigate through rugged, unforgiving terrain. It's all about overcoming obstacles, managing resources like fuel, and gradually unlocking more powerful trucks designed to handle specific routes. The gameplay is tough, time-consuming, and can sometimes feel frustrating, especially when you get stuck in the mud for the 10th time. But if the routine clicks with you, this game can be surprisingly addictive and rewarding. While it's not for everyone, Expeditions delivers a unique, immersive experience that captures the thrill of exploration and the satisfaction of mastering tough terrain. If that sounds like your kind of challenge, it's definitely worth checking out. Coming in at number 16, we've got Dungeons of Hinterberg. This hidden gem is perfect for anyone looking for an action RPG that's laid back, approachable, and doesn't demand too much of your time. Its premise is simple yet charming, a much-needed escape from the grind of everyday life. You play as Louisa, a young woman who ditches her stressful job and heads to the Alps to tackle Hinterberg's mysterious dungeons scattered across stunning and diverse biomes. Along the way, you're free to explore, chat with locals, soak in the scenery, and, of course, battle enemies. While there's an overarching story, Dungeons of Hinterberg doesn't force you down a set path. Instead, the game gives you the freedom to decide how you want to approach its world. Your main objective is to conquer 25 dungeons, but how you get there is entirely up to you. The game's open-world design feels like a sandbox, with 4 distinct biomes, each offering its own vibe, setting, and challenges to explore. If you're craving an adventure that's equal parts relaxing and engaging, Dungeons of Hinterberg is definitely worth checking out. It's the kind of game that lets you take things at your own pace, and sometimes that's exactly what you need. At number 15, we've got The Hunter Call of the Wild, a game that fully embraces its niche appeal. While hunting might be a fun side activity in games like Far Cry, here it's the main event. The Hunter Call of the Wild is all about delivering an authentic hunting experience, focusing on realism above all else. Players explore massive, beautifully crafted maps in search of prey, but don't expect any shortcuts. This is a slow, methodical process that rewards patience and strategy. If you're looking for fast-paced action, this might not be your thing. What sets this game apart is its dedication to the hunt. There's no fluff or distractions, just you, your gear, and the great outdoors. Call of the Wild features a variety of hunting reserves set in different parts of the world, offering diverse terrains and challenges. However, the base game includes only 2 maps, Hirschfelden and Leighton Lake. The rest are available as DLC, which expands the experience significantly for those who can't get enough of this immersive simulation. If you're a fan of hunting games or just enjoy the idea of a realistic, nature-focused challenge, Call of the Wild might be exactly what you're looking for. Up next is Burnout Paradise Remastered, a game that's nothing short of iconic in the open-world racing genre. Often regarded as a trailblazer, Burnout Paradise set the stage for games like Forza Horizon to shine. This game brings the Burnout series' signature chaotic gameplay into an open-world format, giving players total freedom to carve their own path to racing glory. While its map might seem small compared to today's standards, it's packed with variety and designed with precision that keeps it endlessly engaging. Even years later, few games come close to delivering the sheer thrill of speed that Burnout Paradise does. The crashes are jaw-droppingly intense, and since the cars aren't bound by licensing, the game leans into realistic damage modeling, making each race feel dynamic and unpredictable. It's an adrenaline rush from start to finish, and that's why it still holds a legendary status among racing fans. If high-speed, chaotic racing is your thing, Burnout Paradise Remastered deserves a spot in your collection. It's the perfect blend of nostalgia and pure, heart-pounding fun. Number 13 is Medieval Dynasty. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live in the Middle Ages? Medieval Dynasty gives you the chance to step into that world, focusing on gritty realism rather than fantasy. There are no mythical creatures or legendary heroes here, just the harsh reality of surviving and thriving in a time when even that felt like a miracle. This survival game delivers all the classic elements of the genre, managing resources, keeping an eye on vital stats, and building from the ground up. You'll start with almost nothing, slowly growing your small settlement into a thriving community. But don't get too comfortable. Growth comes with its own set of challenges, and staying on top of them is part of the game's reward and grind. Medieval Dynasty is perfect for anyone who loves the survival genre and wants a grounded historical take on it. It's an experience that's as immersive as it is challenging. Next is Riders Republic. While this game has been accessible for a while, it remains an exciting and refreshing experience for fans of extreme sports. Ubisoft's adrenaline-packed adventure stands out, especially since there aren't many games like it out there. Set in a sprawling, mountain-inspired open world, Riders Republic challenges players to master a variety of thrilling sports. Whether it's biking, snowboarding, or wingsuit flying, the game keeps things fresh with its diverse gameplay. As you progress, you'll unlock tougher challenges that push your skills to the limit. Whether you're looking to go solo or compete with a massive community of players, Riders Republic is an ambitious and exciting ride. If you're into sports open world games, it's definitely worth checking out. Number 11 is Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves had a somewhat rough launch, but the game has improved by leaps and bounds since its release. Although enjoyable for solo players, this title is best experienced alongside a group of friends because so much of Sea of Thieves depends on the crew making its own fun. As pirates in a vast and gorgeous open world, adventure is constantly at their beck and call as crews seek to complete trait missions, find buried treasure, and survive encounters with creatures like the Kraken or ghost ships. Rare regularly releases updates for Sea of Thieves that introduce new ways to interact with the sandbox and other players who exist within it. Sea of Thieves is truly one of a kind, a rare game that might bring a sea of joy to you. Next up, we have Palworld. Coming out of nowhere and quickly establishing itself as one of Game Pass's best open-world games, Palworld is almost unbelievably good, especially considering it is still in game preview. Palworld is an open-world survival game set in a bright land filled with unique, colorful creatures. They may resemble Pokemon, but this is no Pokemon game. After all, you can eat these cute creatures if you desire. You can also shoot or catch them. If you choose to catch them, you can put them to work, keeping your base operational while building up your resources. The goal of the game is to live and survive in this world, which sometimes means engaging in shootouts with rival PAL trainers. Survival fans will find a fairly accessible experience that offers depth and challenge through its combat and team management. Meanwhile, players seeking to explore a fresh-feeling realm will find a lot to love in Palworld's open world. Number 9 is Diablo IV. This action RPG started off strong with a lot of hype and positive reception at launch, but unfortunately, its reputation took a nosedive pretty quickly. The goodwill didn't even make it to the first season, and nowadays the game feels like it's struggling to keep attention outside of its core and often critical player base. Because of this, its arrival on Xbox Game Pass in 2024 wasn't as big of a deal as it could have been. That said, let's not forget what Diablo IV does well. Sure, the endgame could use some serious work and certain post-launch updates weren't exactly fan favorites, but at its core, it's still a solid isometric hack-and-slash game. The campaign alone offers nearly 30 hours of fun, and while Diablo has never been known for its story, you can absolutely enjoy this installment as a single-player adventure with a clear ending. One of the big selling points before launch was its open-world design, which was a first for the series. Sanctuary is massive, with enough variety and procedurally generated dungeons to keep things fresh. While it might not be groundbreaking, it's worth checking out, especially if you're looking for an open-world hack-and-slash experience, because let's be honest, there aren't too many of those around. Next up is The Evil Within 2. This game stepped in to fill a horror void when Resident Evil leaned more into action, and while it's not perfect, it definitely delivered. The sequel shakes things up by setting the story in Union, a simulated town that the protagonist explores while fighting to save his daughter. Now Union isn't as massive or packed with content as other open-world games, but it strikes a nice balance. Players have the freedom to roam, while still following a fairly guided path. Open-world horror games are rare since the genre typically thrives on tightly controlled, curated experiences. But The Evil Within 2 proves that horror can work in a more open structure. In fact, the open design enhances the tension. There's always that lingering fear that something terrifying is just around the corner. Add to that some top-notch creature designs, and you've got plenty of genuine scares, even with the world feeling more spread out. While it doesn't have much competition in its category, The Evil Within 2 easily stands out as one of the best open-world horror games currently available on Game Pass. The next game is Sunset Overdrive. Insomniac has spent recent years crafting superhero-themed adventures featuring everyone's favorite neighborhood wall crawler. However, Marvel's Spider-Man was not the developer's first foray into open-world territory. Sunset Overdrive might be one of the more underrated titles of the 2010s, and the game's brilliant movement system ranks it among the best open-world games on Game Pass. Essentially a large playground, Sunset City is filled with rails and zip lines, encouraging players to take to the skies and grind their way above the streets. The gunplay is also fun, particularly once players unlock their full arsenal of weapons. The next game is Yakuza 0. The Yakuza franchise has mastered the art of crafting small but dense cities that deliver immersion without relying too much on realism. Yakuza 0 features multiple protagonists, each wildly different from the other. Their stories start fairly isolated, but eventually come together in an interesting way. Each protagonist gets their own Japanese city to explore. These maps can be traversed in a few minutes, but they feel much bigger because each street is packed with activities. Additionally, the cities are full of people offering you side missions. Along with its stellar open world, Yakuza 0 tells an awesome story that balances action, character growth, tragedy, and epicness. Furthermore, the optional quests do a splendid job of highlighting different aspects of the cities that might otherwise go unnoticed. Everything combines to create a world oozing with personality and substance. Number 5 is Starfield. Easily one of the biggest Game Pass editions of 2023, This game had massive expectations surrounding it. Bethesda's first new IP in decades, Starfield had been in development for years, so it was destined to make waves, whether or not it fully lived up to the hype. While it might not have reached the legendary status of Skyrim, it's still a remarkable achievement for Bethesda and a significant step forward in several areas. From its deep character customization to its polished gunplay and well-developed companions, Starfield arguably features some of the best mechanics Bethesda Game Studios has ever delivered. Even the main story, though a bit slow to start, offers a solid narrative that's worth exploring. Like Bethesda's other flagship titles, Starfield is an open-world RPG, but it's a very different experience compared to Skyrim or Fallout 4. Instead of one continuous map, the game spreads its universe across a vast array of planets. Players will find themselves frequently fast-traveling between locations, which can break the immersion for some. While you can fly your ship through space, it's not a core part of the gameplay, and landing on planets isn't seamless either. Instead, Starfield opts for smaller, self-contained areas that contribute to a larger interconnected galaxy. This design choice doesn't detract from the experience, it just gives Starfield a unique flavor that sets it apart from Bethesda's previous RPGs. It's not quite the open-world format we've come to expect, but it still offers plenty of opportunities to explore, discover, and create your own story in a universe brimming with possibilities. Number 4 on our list is Forza Horizon 5. Playground Games has solidified itself as the gold standard for open-world racing, and the 5th installment in this series continues that legacy in spectacular fashion. Set in the vibrant and diverse landscapes of Mexico, Forza Horizon 5 offers a map that feels more varied and dynamic than its predecessor. Each region boasts a distinct aesthetic, making every corner of the map feel fresh and exciting to explore. As with previous entries, Forza Horizon 5 strikes the perfect balance between hyper-realistic visuals and a high-energy arcade racing experience. It's the best of both worlds, seamlessly blending authenticity with pure, over-the-top fun. Playground Games has once again delivered a sandbox that's an absolute joy to drive through, whether you're tackling it solo or diving into its robust multiplayer offerings. The map is packed with activities and challenges that cater to all types of players, ensuring there's always something new to discover. If you're a fan of open-world racing, Forza Horizon 5 is an absolute must-play. Number 3 is Grounded. After spending quite some time in early access, this unique survival adventure has finally had its full release. Imagine this, a seemingly ordinary backyard transforms into a sprawling, perilous sandbox teemed with menacing creatures, all because you've been shrunk down to the size of an ant. Suddenly, a single blade of grass towers over you, and your journey home becomes a battle for survival in this strange miniature world. Grounded combines creativity with survival mechanics, offering a fresh perspective that feels inspired by other open-world games, yet stands out thanks to its distinct personality. Players must learn to adapt to this wild ecosystem, crafting tools, building shelters, and battling larger-than-life insects as they explore the backyard's secrets. Obsidian Entertainment, known for creating some of the most immersive worlds in gaming, once again proves its talent here. Grounded is a testament to the studio's ability to craft unforgettable experiences, solidifying it as a standout title in the open-world survival genre. Number 2 is Mafia Definitive Edition, a standout in the open-world genre for a number of reasons. First off, the game takes us back to the 1930s, with Hangar 13 meticulously recreating the look and feel of the era. Lost Heaven might be a fictional city, but its design captures the essence of a bustling Prohibition-era Chicago. This is a classic gangster tale at its core, following Tommy Angelo's rise within a powerful crime family. The real magic of Mafia Definitive Edition lies in its storytelling and character development, which remain as gripping today as they were in the original game. The remake does a fantastic job of preserving these strengths while giving the visuals a modern overhaul. One thing that sets this game apart is its approach to the open-world concept. Lost Heaven is beautiful to explore, and driving through its streets feels incredibly immersive. However, the city isn't packed with side activities or distractions. Instead, the open world serves as a backdrop for the story, helping players focus on the tightly written narrative and moving seamlessly from one mission to the next. Taking the top spot on our list is Stalker 2. For a long time, it felt like this game would never see the light of day. The fact that it's now available on Game Pass is a testament to the incredible perseverance and dedication of GSC Game World. Just its release alone is worth celebrating, but here's the good news. It's not just a symbolic victory. The game itself is absolutely worth your time. Stalker 2 continues the franchise's tradition of delivering brutally challenging survival gameplay, where vulnerability and resourcefulness are the keys to staying alive. While this entry is arguably the most approachable in the series, don't be fooled. It's still a tough ride, especially for newcomers. Set in the Zone, a desolate and dangerous wasteland shaped by greed, desperation, and unrelenting survival, the game is packed with mutants, mysterious artifacts, and an arsenal of weapons. But don't expect to spray and pray. Ammo is scarce, and every decision matters. Powered by Unreal Engine 5, Stalker 2 offers a massive open world that's not only the biggest in the series, but also breathtakingly detailed. What sets this survival game apart is its immersive atmosphere and rich world building. Systems like radiation management and meticulous item handling perfectly complement its gritty tone. Even if you've never played a Stalker game before, this one is absolutely worth a shot. Just be ready to deal with the occasional bug. It wouldn't be a Stalker experience without one, right? If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.